Today I'm going to show you how to pick up stitches along the knitted edge of a fabric. Sometimes you will see this term written down exactly how I said it, pick up stitches. Sometimes it will say pick up and knit. They both really mean the same thing. I'm going to go over how to pick up along the knitted edge, like you're working your rows and bind off and then pick up on top of that, or pick up below your cast on, so that would be along the knitted edge. And then I'm also going to show you how to pick up stitches along the row edge. Here we go. First, let's pick up stitches along the stitch edge of the fabric, which will be this edge up here. This can be done either on the cast on edge, which is down here where the ribbing is, or on the bind off edge where we've got garter stitch. This is a swatch that I did for a new design that I have coming out, but using it strictly as an example here. You could pick up along stockinette stitch, you can pick up along ribbing, you can really pick up along any stitch. And normally you would use the same yarn for picking up stitches as you do for your knitted fabric, but in this example I'm going to use a contrasting color just so you can see exactly what's happening. I want you to think of your fabric as your left hand needle, and then your needle you're only going to use one end of, which will be your right needle. So when we start, we want to stick our needle into the fabric, and we always want to stick it under 2 strands of yarn, and in this case this is the bound off stitch. You can see both sides of that bound off stitch. Then with our yarn, and this is just like joining new yarn, but we're going to put a loop around the first stitch and pull it through. Then we insert under 2 stitches. We won't use the tail end. Wrap it around, pull it through. We can also do this continental if that's your preference. Works either way. Again, stick under the 2 stitches, grab your yarn and pull it through. And we continue on that way all along the knitted fabric till we've got new live stitches. We'll just pull those out real quick and we'll show you how to do it on the row edge. Now, when you're picking up along the row edge, the row gauge is normally larger than the stitch gauge. And so you have to know what both gauges are to know how many stitches to pick up. In this case, we've got 4 stitches per inch and 5 rows per inch. So we're going to pick up 4 stitches for every 5 rows. And we'll do that by picking up 1 stitch per row 4 times, and then we'll skip a row. And we'll just continue that along the length of the fabric. Now, just like picking up along the stitches, we want to make sure we always go under 2 strands of yarn. And that we do that just because that provides more structure than just going under 1. It can get really loosey-goosey if you go under 1. Not so much if you go under 2. So we'll pull the stitch through. Now this edge is a garter stitch, so the second stitch is actually right here where the ridge is. We insert our needle. Don't want to grab our tail. Wrap it around and pull it through. So that's 2. Then again, we're going under 2 strands of yarn. Wrap it around, pull it through, and then the 4th stitch is where this garter ridge is. Well, that one's being a little obstinate. There we go. Now the next stitch would be in the valley, but that would be the 5th row. So we're going to skip that one and then go on to the next garter ridge. We would continue that way, obviously along the length of the fabric. And of course you can also do it continental if that's what your preference is. There we go. I don't do that as often, so I'm not quite as good at that. And that is how we pick up stitches along the row edge of knitted fabric. Now you can add picking up stitches to your knitting skill set. Please come back anytime you need a refresher. Thank you so much for watching, and now go spend some quality time with your knitting. Bye-bye.